Next up, we have Dr. Wendy Mitchell and Miss Jackie Ryan to speak about the Worktopia project, so I'll invite them to come up to the podium. Dr. Wendy Mitchell is the National Program Development Manager for the Worktopia project that is designed to improve employment futures for youth and young adults aged 15 to 29 with autism as they transition from high school to independent adulthood. And Jackie Ryan has more than 16 years working in the autism field and is currently the Director of Teen and Adult Services at the Center for Autism Services, Alberta. Jackie was recently diagnosed with autism and is the mother of 3 sons, the youngest of whom is 21 years old and also is diagnosed with autism. She is passionate about the inclusion of individuals with autism and all that affects them and enhancing their quality of life, which includes access to employment. So please join me in welcoming them.
Great, thank you so much for coming, and I'm very excited to be here. I came from Calgary, and it's always wonderful to come back to my hometown of Edmonton. So I'm here to talk to you about Worktopia, and you might be thinking, well, you know what, my child's only in kindergarten or grade 1. Why am I here listening about an employment program? And in part, it's because I was given direction to give you some ideas about tips and tricks. And believe it or not, the work you do now with your young children influences where they're going to be when they're old enough to start looking for a job. So, Worktopia. What is Worktopia? Well, as part of the Canadian Economic Plan in 2014, the Sunni Family Foundation and Autism Speaks Canada were provided with $11.4 million to use over 4 years to set up, implement, and evaluate a network of pre-employment training programs for individuals with autism. And that was across the country. And Employment Works Canada, Community Works Canada, and School Works Canada are the 3 programs that are currently offered under the umbrella of Worktopia. And here within the city of Edmonton, our partner, the Center for Autism Services Alberta and Jackie Ryan, are our partners that deliver both Community Works Canada and Employment Works Canada here in the city of Edmonton. Now you might sort of say, well, why is this important? And when you think about the importance of employment training, it doesn't really matter what research, and I know you're probably all at home on computers looking at research studies, but what you see in those studies are rather grim statistics, which are that individuals with autism are the most unemployed disability group out of any other disability group. And within Canada, when we looked at the Canadian Disabilities Survey, that looked at individuals between 15 and 64, almost 80% of individuals with autism were not in employment. And so, again, I think the Canadian government has a vision about, you know what, this isn't good. It's not good for the individuals, it's not good for families, and it's not good for our society. So how can we make a difference? Our programs really focus, and we work with our participants, and we work with a variety of individuals who are either in high school or have graduated from high school or finished high school and are in that transition phase. And the programs, Community Works and Employment Works, they're low-intensity, short-duration programs, really there to sort of bolster and help people on their trajectory towards employment. And I think I have a little video here that I can just show you very quickly in terms of what the experiences are for participants when they go through these programs, recognizing that there are multiple different ways for people to achieve employment.
So I'm Maureen, and I'm a prep cook at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome. So Employment Works is a fun place for kids to learn and grow with autism. It taught me a lot of different skills and everything. Leadership skills, communication, teamwork. I've also learned some, cooking skills and some new recipes to try out. It helped me prepare for this job that I have today. So before the Worktopia program, I was shy and a little insecure about myself, but now, I'm not shy, I'm confident. I've also learned how to cope with anxiety just by using a deep breathing program and just breathing and being aware of it. It's really helped. They also taught me to believe in myself, which is something I had struggled with before. I've made a lot of new friends that I haven't had before. I feel great about myself. So since I've been working here, I could see myself working as a chef and continuing to learn new skills. So if I were to tell somebody about Employment Works, I would say it's a really fun program to learn and everybody just supports you. Like, I still use the tips and things that they taught me in Employment Works to this present day. Go out and do it. It's really fun, this program. I would highly recommend it.
Alrighty. And before I give you some tips and tricks and things to sort of set the stage when you think about how do I prepare my child for potentially moving into work, I thought it was so important to hear the messages earlier today where we talked about that it's really not just about working with participants, but that it's really important to sort of think about our communities and how we have to support communities in their understanding of autism, and so that we can create communities that are more welcoming for individuals with autism. And that is a really important goal of the Worktopia project. And I want to just share this quickly with you because that is, although I'll focus mostly on what are the things you as a family can do to sort of support your child as they move towards employment, I want you to know that we do see this as very important. And the work with the community partners in helping them understand autism and being more open and understanding is critical.
My name is Grant, and I work for the Calgary Flames Sports and Entertainment Corporation, and I'm one of the sous chefs here. So when we're able to bring in the Worktopia group, we bring them in the day before an event. We're able to give them a whole tour of the building, in behind the backstages, the main kitchen, so they get to see how the whole building kind of works. And then we'll actually have them in the kitchen with us, suited up in chef jackets, helping us prep the food for the actual Flames game the next day. A lot of people ask us if having the Worktopia group in is challenging. You have to develop your team, no matter who it is. ASC doesn't make a difference. It's when we work together, we're working to the same goal, common tasks. It's not an issue at all. What we hope to accomplish with a relationship with Worktopia is to keep bringing in groups that are excited to be here and they're looking for jobs to be in this industry in the future. And if we can help develop those skills, that benefits them and it benefits us hugely. When I tell people about Worktopia, I just tell them how neat it is. I'd 100% recommend other employers try and be a part of this program. We've had people that now come and work for us, and they're a valued part of our team.
Excellent. So, to sort of get to the meat of the matter, I guess this is about practical tips and setting the stage. So I've got 5 photos there. I've got a dishwasher, I've got some burnt cookies, which I think those may be from my kitchen actually. A board game, I've got a GoPro, and I've got the goal setting there. And you might sort of say, well, how do these things really influence somebody's employability moving forward? And if I do my job correctly, these 5 photos will stick with you and you will understand why they're important. So I guess that first piece, and I think about kind of the families and the participants that we're working with in our Worktopia projects, and we spend a lot of time working on self-determination with the participants, and in part because these are young adolescents and they're adults. They're not children, and I'm not trying to fix or change somebody. I'm trying to support them on their journey as they become adults and they navigate their employment or their pathway to employment. And so when you think about what we do in our program, we spend a lot of time with them sort of thinking about goal setting. What's important to you in terms of what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? And we have a short time frame. Our programs are 12 weeks. So what is it that you want to accomplish during that time? And as part of setting that goal, we work in terms of, so what kinds of things are you going to do? We're there to support you, but we're not always going to be there. So these skills are going to be important for you as you move forward on your journey to employment, to sort of think about, well, how do I, if I set a goal, how do I motivate myself and instruct myself to achieve that goal? How do I monitor that I'm on the right path? How do I reinforce myself that, you know what, I'm doing a pretty good job here. I'm kind of taking steps and I'm making my way. And, I've run into a snag. How do I manage that or correct the course that I'm on so that I can achieve my goal? And that is a really important part of what we do in our Worktopia programs. And when we think about self-determination and why it's so important, it's really thinking, and I should talk a little bit about what do I mean by self-determination, It's really for that young individual to have the skills, the attitudes, and the supports so that they can direct their own life choices and so that they can be confident and happy with the choices that they make. And we really target that with our participants. When we think about, as parents, you really have a role in terms of with your kids that are young to sort of set that stage with them in terms of helping create the stage for self-determination, whether that's starting with them making choices, helping them make some goals, and reinforcing themselves. And when you think about kind of what are skills valued by employers, they really are social communication skills, the interpersonal skills, how do you get along with people in the office, and those skills that relate to lifelong learning. And so when you think about social communication, and this is it's one of the hallmarks of autism, but what can you do to sort of support kids and think about, wow, you know what, as doing this task, it will have an important influence when my child goes to enter the workforce. And that really is, so video reflections. So anytime you have an opportunity to video either somebody, your child either giving instructions and then going back and watching, identifying in those videos, what was good? What did I do in there that was good? What's something that I could improve on next time? That's what video reflection helps with. You can talk about discussing different types of communication in different contexts. We spend a lot of time with our participants in our programs sort of saying, you know, how you speak to the boss really shouldn't be the same as how you speak to your siblings or your parents or your friends. And understanding that subtle difference can be challenging. So the more that people have heard it and have opportunities to understand that kind of interaction is important. Modeling active listening, that idea of, okay, so here's what I heard that you want to do. You want to do X and Y. Okay, got it. Let's go do it. And again, the social communication strategies that were put in place during the school, how can those easily transition into a work setting? So taking those learnings with you as you go are sort of some of the practical tips for social communication. When you think about interpersonal, those things about getting along with others, teamwork. Teamwork is so important in today's workforce. And so anything you do in terms of board games, learning to work with others by volunteering. We heard Heather talk about the importance of volunteering and really engaging in those extracurricular activities, just those opportunities to be with others. Thinking about how chores, the dishwasher plays a role in terms of taking direction and accepting criticism or constructive feedback. Hygiene and grooming, super important in terms of the workforce and that interpersonal connection. And so again, the more you set the stage for that's important in the early years, it becomes something that you don't have to focus on later to try to shift or improve upon. And then when you think about lifelong learning skills, employers often talk about the importance of dedication, of responsibility, and chores play that role in terms of helping people understand that they feel pride in accomplishing something, that it really develops that image, that self-image of I've contributed, I've done something that's important. It's an opportunity for you to target quality and productivity. That's the burnt cookies. It doesn't matter if I can make 4 dozen cookies in a short period of time if I burn them all. So again, it's that balance between doing a good job in a timely fashion. And again, I think when you think about lifelong learning and activities focusing on regular attendance, employers really like to see people who show up regularly, who are considerate when they're going to be late, or let people know. Those are important skills that you have the ability to reinforce now in terms of early activities that you engage with your child. And these are the details of our programs, and Jackie here will be available to sort of talk a little bit more about Community Works. And this is also Employment Works, and the differences is just the ages of the groups that we're serving, where Community Works focuses more on volunteer work, and Employment Works really focuses on that sort of early introduction into the workplace. And there is Jackie's contact information for the Center for Autism Services Alberta. And if you wanted to look more in depth at Worktopia, there is our Worktopia website. Thank you.